Hello everyone and welcome. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to create a landing page on WordPress. As I scroll down here, you'll notice that there will be some animations. So there you can see it zooming in, and when I scroll further down, you'll also see that we have these images also coming up. So these animations were made possible by the latest feature which was added to Divi. Now, another thing as well that I covered here is I had to do a bit of work in Photoshop to separate this shoe from the background. So I'll also be showing you that. Okay, so before we get started designing our page, if you're brand new to WordPress and you haven't designed your website yet and you don't have your hosting, I have some offers for you. If you buy your hosting through my affiliate link with InMotion Hosting, I will give you 2 of my courses absolutely free. The first course is the WordPress course, which teaches you basically everything that you need to know about WordPress. And the second course is a Divi Blueprint course. Now, this course again shows you everything that you need in order for you to design awesome looking websites. And also, the third way you can actually get this training is to buy Divi using my affiliate link. So all you have to do is to buy the actual Divi membership using my affiliate link, and just let me know your receipt number and I'll give you access to that course. Okay, let's dive in and let me show you how we managed to build this landing page. Right, so first off, I started off by going to a website called Pixabay. Now, Pixabay is a royalty-free website. You can use all these images absolutely free, and that's the good thing about them. Right, so I came over here and I searched for shoes, as you can see here at the top, and these were my results, and this is the shoe that I chose, as you can see here in our final design. Okay, now when you download that image, it comes with a white background, so you have to go into Photoshop and remove that background, and this is what I'm about to show you. Okay, so I'm going to open up Photoshop, and right here is my image. You can see it has a white background, so we need to get rid of that white background. So what you want to do, in fact, let me make this bigger. So what you want to do is to first duplicate this image. So you click on it right here, and then you press Command J. Command J just duplicates it or makes a copy of this image. Right. So if you're on a PC, it's Control J. Okay. So in a Mac, it's Command J. PC, it's Control J. Right. So now that you have this image here, what you want to do is to come over here and click on this icon right here. Now this icon helps you select the image, select part of the image that you don't need. Now this is going to be a rough selection, so I'll just drag around, and I don't know if you can see this, but as I'm selecting this, it's really selecting the white background. What in fact I'll do is I'll zoom in so you can actually see what's going on here. But you can see these marching ants here are pretty much selecting this white area. Now, what is happening here is this: the white area that's selected. We need to select the shoe. So I have a very good shortcut that you can use to inverse that selection. So what you want to do is to hold down Shift Command I. Okay, if you press Shift Command I, it inverts that selection. Okay, so now that I have this selected, what you want to do is to come here to the top and click on Select and Mask. So I'm going to click once on it, and here you can actually go into different modes that will help you see how your selection is selected. So if I come here, I can choose the overlay method, or I could choose marching ants. Now that one is not really good because we can't really see. Okay, so we can use on layers, and we can also use this black and white. Now, the one that I normally use is this on black A. Now, the reason why I choose this is because I can pretty much see my object that I'm editing, and it's very clear with the background once it's selected that way. Okay, good. So now that we have that, what you want to do now is to adjust these settings here. So you've got opacity, you also have radius. Now I don't really touch opacity because this pretty much just makes your background dark or lighter. Okay, so you can adjust that if your image is a bit too dark. Okay, now let's go on to the radius. So what you want to do here is to play around with these adjustments here until you get your right selection. So I'm going to come over here to smooth and just make sure that my selection is smooth. So 12 is fine. I'm also going to feather this, but not too much. I'll just maybe leave it at 1 pixel. And I'm also going to add some contrast to this. Now, if you exaggerate it, you can actually see what difference it's making. So again, here, I'll just leave it at maybe 20%. And then I'm also going to do shift edge. Okay, so I'm just going to shift the edge to about -20. Now, these settings here may also depend on the type of image that you're working on. So you just need to play around with these until you're satisfied with how you're selecting. Okay, over here, I'm going to come here and click on decontaminate colors. And then you need to make sure your output is to a new layer with layer mask. Right, so now with all that set, I'm going to click on OK. Right, so now our image is on a transparent background. Now I'm just going to disable this layer here so we can see clearly what's going on here. So I've disabled it, and now you can see that it's on a transparent background. And just to prove that, just in case you can't really see that, I'm just going to add a background which has a color. So I'm just going to add this background here and just pull it below this image. So now you can see that it's on the transparent background. Now there's a few items that are really need to adjust here. You can see these laces, they don't look really good like that. So what you want to do is to click this icon here, which has this black around it. This is a layer mask. So what you want to do is to select your brush tool. Now, if you want to select the brush tool, just press B, okay? Because B gives you the brush tool. And if you want to make the brush bigger, just press the right bracket key like that, and that makes it bigger, and just start painting. So as I'm painting here, it's actually deleting or erasing this part right here. Okay, so I'm just going to make my brush slightly smaller by pressing the left bracket key and then just continue painting like that. Now I'm not going to make this too perfect because this is time consuming. I don't want this tutorial to be way too long. Okay, now let's come over here as well and do that in this area right there, and just try and keep to the edge as much as you can. Okay, brilliant. So I think that will do. So what you want to do now is to deselect this orange background, and now we need to save this image. To save this image, you need to press Shift Alt Command S for sugar. Right, so now we have this save. Now let me give you that command again. If you're on a PC, it's Shift Alt Control S, and then that gives you this dialog box. Okay, so now that we have this, you need to make sure you come over here and select PNG 24. So if you select PNG 24, it gives you this transparent background. So once you have this set, just go ahead and save the image. Okay, so once you save it, we are ready now to go into Divi. Okay, so because I have my image saved already, I'm just going to cancel this and let's dive on to Divi. Okay, so we're going to build this page from scratch. So I'm going to log into my WordPress admin dashboard. Okay, so I'm going to log in and we're going to come over here to pages and click on add new. So let's call this page landing. I'm going to click on use the Divi builder and we're going to go straight to the visual builder. Right, so now we are right here in the visual builder. So the first thing we're going to do here is to add a single row. So I'm going to click this plus button here, and we're going to add an image. So I'm going to click on image, click upload. Now, as I mentioned, I have my images already installed in my media library. So I'm just going to click my image here of the shoes, click on upload an image. So now we have our image right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. Next, we need to add a full width section, and in that full width, it needs to be a full width header. Right, so all we need to do here is to just come over here to design, click on layout, and make sure that it's set to full screen. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save. So now we have this space for this full screen image. Now let's click this gear icon here. Now what we need to do next is to add a background image. So I'm going to click on background, and then I need to access this third tab. Right, so here we need to add our image. So I'm going to click this plus button, and this is the image that we need to add. And I also got this image from Pixabay. Right, I'm going to click upload an image, and you'll notice that this image will cover pretty much the whole section. Okay, so let's go ahead and save, and then we're going to drag this image to the top. So I'm just going to drag it all the way to the top like that. So now we have our shoe right here. Okay, so what we need to do now is to come into our row settings and add a negative margin. So I'm going to click on row settings, click the advanced tab, custom CSS, main element. So we need to type in this CSS code, which is margin top, colon. Let's try -400 px. Right, so you can see that our image now has just been pushed up, which is exactly what we need. So let's go ahead now and save. Right, so in order for us to see this clearly, let's start adding our background colors. So I'm going to come over here to this section settings, click on background, and we're going to add our background color. Right, so let's click this plus button here and add black, okay? And then save that. Now already you can see now that this is looking really, really nice. So to make this seamless into this hero image, what we need to do is to come here to the hero image. Let's click on this gear icon, click on background. And then this time we're going to go to the second tab where we can adjust our gradients. So the first color here is going to be black and the second color is going to be white. Okay. And our gradient direction needs to be 360. We come over here to the third tab, which is the image. And then here on the background image blend, we need to set it to multiply. Now you can see that the background that we have on the second section is now blending into this image, which is really, really cool. Now you can go back in here in the second tab and adjust our settings. So we can adjust here the start position and just bring it back down a bit so we can show more of this image. Okay, so in fact, we can bring it down to about 34. Right, so that's looking nice. So we can see more of the image as well, which is brilliant. Right, let's go ahead and save. Right, so next we need to add a call to action. So I'm going to click this plus button here and I'm going to search for my call to action. And we're going to add our call to action. Now for this, I normally use my lorem text because I'm really lazy. So I don't like typing in the actual text that needs to go in there. But what you could do is, because I'm giving away this layout for free, you can always go in and change the text when you need to. Okay, so I'm going to add my text like that. Our button text needs to be add to cart. Okay, and then we need to add some text here that goes with the description. I'm going to copy it and paste it in this area like that. And then for the button to show, we need to add a link. So for now, I'm just going to add a blank link like that. And then we're going to come over here to background and remove that background because we don't need that. So I'm going to select no. And now we have all our call to action on a transparent background. Let's go to design. Let's click on text. Now what we need to do here is to make sure that everything is centered, which it is, which is good. And then we're going to come over here to header text. Now let's make this slightly bigger, maybe 36 will do. Now I've just created a habit where I want to make sure that the text that I'm using looks good on all three devices. So I'm going to show you what I do here. So I'm going to make this bold and all caps. Right, so what I normally do is I come over here to this little icon here and just make sure that everything looks nice. So here in my tablet view, I can see that my text is quite big. I can just reduce it a little bit, maybe 30. And then for the smartphone, I definitely want that in one line. So I'm going to reduce this until it's all on one line. So 22 is fine. Okay, so let's go back to our desktop view. So that's looking good. And let's move on to our body text. So in our body text, again, we're going to increase this to about 18. Okay, so that's fine. And our line height, we can determine this if we are able to see this in two lines. So let's add some more text to this. So I'm going to copy some more text and let's paste it in our content area. Right, so I'm going to come back here and we're going to add it right there. Okay, so now we can see that we have our line height doesn't look really, really nice. So let's come over here to our design tab, click on body text, and let's add our line height. Okay, so 1.8 seems to be really nice. The next thing we're going to do is to make some adjustments to the button and make it look really, really nice. So we're going to come over here to button, use custom styles for button. Now, use custom styles for button activates all the features that you need to in order for you to make adjustments to that. Okay, so let's come over here to our button text color. Now, I haven't mentioned the colors yet, but I'm using specific colors throughout this. So what I'm going to do is I'll be bouncing back between my document, which has all my colors, so that you can see which colors I'm using. So for my text color, I'm going to come over here to my document, and this is my text color. I'm going to copy it. So let's go back here to our body text and start off by adding it here. Okay, so that's my body text. And now it's time to add our color for the button. So for buttons, I'm going to select my color here, click on the button. So button background color, let's start off by adding this. And then our text color, I'm going to use a bright red. And we don't need any border width on this. And then let's scroll down until we get to border radius. I think 3 is fine. And then I'm going to come over here, make sure that it's bold and it's all caps. Okay, now here we also need an icon just to add a bit of styling to that button. So the icon I need is this shopping cart, and I'm going to make sure that the icon shows all the time. So you can see now that it's showing. The final thing we need to do is to add our button hover background color. So again, we can just choose a color that works. Now this is subtle, and I think that's really cool. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead now and save. Oh, in fact, there's one more thing that we need to do. We need to add our header color. So let's go back in here and let's go to design and click on header text. So for our header text color, I'm just going to paste my color in here, and that looks really nice. Now, you may notice something here with these colors. Now, when I've added these colors, they're pretty much matching closely, the shoe that we have here. Now, this is one of those design techniques that you can use to make sure that you have consistent colors on your page. Okay, so that's looking good to me. Let's go ahead and save, and let's go in and add more elements to this page. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another section. So I'm going to click this plus button here and click regular. Now we need 3 columns, and in those columns we're going to add images and text. So I'm going to start off with image. Click my image URL. So I'm going to start off with this image here. Now the way I prepare these images, again, I went to Photoshop and just selected a part of the shoe that I thought that would look nice, and I just saved those 3 images. So that's how I got to get these images here. Okay, I'm going to click upload an image. So you can see it's showing right here. I'm going to go ahead and save, and I'm just going to duplicate this 2 times and then just add the rest of my images here. Okay, so now that I have all these in place, next I need to come into the settings of this module to change this image. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one and then save, and then I'm going to come and also add the image for the last one, which is this one right here. Okay, upload an image. So that's looking fine so far. I'm going to go ahead and save. And then if you'd like, this is the stage where you can add your background color. So I'm going to come over here to background, and we're going to make it black. Go ahead and save. Now it's time to add the text module. So I'm going to come over here, click this plus button, and I'm going to search for my text module. So in here, I'm just going to come to design, click on text, and then just add my text color like that. And then we're going to go back and add the content. So we're going to click our lorem text, highlight my text here, and I'm going to come back here and paste it. Okay, I'm going to paste it here. So now you can see it's showing. And that text is a bit too small. We're going to make it slightly bigger. So we're going to come over here to text, and for the size, I'm just going to bring it up to about 16. In fact, maybe even 15. Okay, so that's looking fine. The line height looks fine too. So I'm going to go ahead now and save. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate these a few times, or I can even copy and paste it. So in fact, let me copy and paste because that's easier. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste. If you're on a PC, instead of Control, just use, if you're on a Mac, it's Control C. If you're on a PC, it's, keep getting it wrong. Okay. If you're on a Mac, it's Command C. If you're on a PC, it's Control C. Okay. And then to paste, it's Control V or Command V. Okay, so I've pasted all my information here. I'm happy with that. That's good. Let's add another row. Now this row is going to have our text module, which will have our heading. So I'm just going to click on text and we're going to add our heading. So for that, I'm going to come over here again into the design, click text, and we're going to make sure that we add our color straight away. So I'm going to paste my color in here, and then I'm going to go back to my text and add our heading. So again, I'm going to come to Lorem 2 and just select a line here, which is going to act as our heading. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it in here like that, and then click on the design tab to make the design changes. So right here, I'm going to add my size to about, say, 30. I'm going to make sure that it's centered. Okay, let's try and make it bold and see what it looks like. Okay, all caps. So if we make it all caps, we need to try and make it smaller, which I think looks quite cool. So we can leave it at 22. And then I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to drag this to the top like that. Okay. So we can either leave it as it is, like it is now, or we can even add a divider line. So to add a divider, it's very straightforward. Come over here, click this plus button, and let's just search for our divider. So it's right here. Before we go into the settings, you need to click on Show Divider. Okay, so you can see now it's showing. Click on Design. Come over here to Color. So this is where again you can play around with the colors. So I'm going to try this orange here. That looks quite nice. On the styles, you can make the weight, any size you want. But for now, I think we're good at maybe even 3. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at 3. Let's save changes and come over here to our row settings. So in our row settings, we need to come over here to Design, click on Sizing, and then we need to choose a custom size. Okay, so we're going to come over here and just drag this until we're happy with the size that we need. So I'm going to leave it maybe at about 520. Okay, so what we need to do next is to adjust the spacing or the padding between the text here and the line. So I'm going to click this gear icon here to go into our settings, click on Design, click on Spacing, and the padding bottom needs to be about, say, let's try 20. Okay, 20 looks, yeah, I think that looks fine. Let's go ahead and save. And then we're going to come over here because this gap here is a bit too much. We're going to come over here to the row settings and just reduce the padding. So we're going to come over here to Sizing, click on Spacing, and then for our padding top, let's add a 0. Now it's a bit closer and that looks much better. Okay, so let's go ahead now and save. So you can see already that our page is looking really, really nice. Now it's time to add our animations. So to access the animations, let's go ahead and click on this gear icon here. And then we're going to go to Design. And right here at the bottom, this is the addition that was added to the latest update in Divi. So we're going to click on Animation. And then we can play around with these. So for this one here, I need to zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to click on Zoom In. So you can see that it's zoomed in. So you can come over here to Animation Duration, and you can extend it if you want. So it's a bit more subtle. And then here, the intensity as well can be adjusted. So you can lower it. So I like leaving it at about 40. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Okay, so let's move here to the bottom, and we're going to add some animation to this as well. So let's go into the row settings, click on Design, Animation, and this animation, we just need this to fade in. So we're going to click on Fade In. So you can see here that it faded in, but this time I need a delay of about 200, and then I'm going to save. Okay, and then finally, we want this row to be animated as well. So I'm going to click this row settings, click on Design, click on Animation, but this time we need this to slide up. Okay, so we're going to click here. Instead of having it centered, we need to slide up. Right. Now that's a bit too aggressive. So what we can do is we can lower the animation intensity. So let's lower it down. Yeah, so that's better. Okay. And the animation delay here needs to be about 300. Okay, so that's looking good. Now there's more items here that you can adjust, like the animation curve. You can ease in, you can do all sorts of things here. So you can play around with these. In fact, I'll make another tutorial where we specifically go through these animation settings. Okay, so with that set, I'm going to go ahead now and save changes. So we can see here that our page is looking really nice. I'm going to save this page and make the final changes. So right now I'm going to exit the Visual Builder. We're going to test our animation and see if it's working fine. Yep. Beautiful. Okay, so now that we have all this in place, we can see here that we have this Divi header area here, and we also have the footer area. Now, these areas we don't need, especially if it's going to be a landing page. A landing page needs to be a page that just communicates that specific message. And that's why it's a landing page. So let's come over here and click on Edit Page. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to click on the template and make sure that it's a blank template. Click Update. Okay, and now let's view the page. Perfect. So now we can see that our page does not have any headers or footers. So this page is ideal if you're selling a product and that product needs to be promoted. So what you'll then do is you can go to your Facebook advertising and make sure that you drive the traffic to this particular page. And obviously you can measure if this page is giving you results, if more people are buying whatever you're selling here. So that's the beauty of a landing page. But this just gives you an idea of how to create a landing page using Divi and all the features that I've just shown you, including the latest animation features that were recently added. Now, if you want to learn how to design websites, you can see Divi is very powerful. In fact, the combination of Divi and WordPress is amazing. That has enabled me to actually build my own career, and pretty much it's just those two programs, Divi and WordPress. Now, if you'd like to learn how to design websites, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, you can actually get my courses absolutely free if you buy your hosting through my affiliate link, which I'll leave in the comments box below. Now, if you already have hosting, that's no problem. What you can do is there's a discount link that I have in my show notes. So that will give you a discount to my Divi course, and it's a massive discount. It's 70% discount. So just go to my link in the show notes below and click on that link and get your discount. Now that course, as I mentioned again earlier on, it will give you everything that you need to know to utilize Divi and make you build amazing websites. Okay, now this is just a snapshot of what you can do with Divi. You can do absolutely amazing stuff. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. If you're brand new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be notified every time I release new videos, and also go to diviuniversity.com and make sure you're on the mailing list, because I often give a lot of reminders when there's live training and when there's any discounts. So make sure you're on that list so that you don't lose out. Until next time, thanks for watching and keep designing.